we get to these trade deadlines, we talk a big deal, and then rarely do we have big deals. Now you have Bryce Harper, who at least is there for the taking. I don't know what it's going to take, but what's the likelihood that he's moved by the Nationals today?
It's pretty high. We just stepped out of our production meeting, and it seems to me most of our insiders and our former GM, Dan O'Dowd, really feel like it's going to happen. They think it's going to happen. I look at it this way from my perspective. I don't see the Nationals signing him back.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to catch the Phillies or the Braves this year. I'm making the trade. I got to get something back for Bryce Harper. I think you can do pretty good with this. And you got a number of teams that are calling and inquiring. So I think it might happen.
Okay, what's it going to take to get Harper, and who has that to give up?
Well, you're going to take – obviously somebody's going to want some young, controllable prospects. That's what everybody looks for. I look at the lineup. I think if you put him in Colorado and you gave up a couple pitchers from Colorado and you put Bryce Harper in that lineup, he hasn't really had a lineup around him. I was saying in our meeting this morning, I think he can go off like a J.D. Martinez did last year and propel a lineup. But we had a list of teams. I'm doing something on it now, but we were talking about the Dodgers. The Indians was a real strong possibility. Him going to Cleveland, being in that lineup. And here was the big thing about Cleveland is they're playing for the World Series now. That's it. This window's going to close pretty soon on them. And so you take that run right now. They've got everything they need except that bat in the middle. And Harper could be that guy that really takes that lineup to another level because they're going to win their division. They're not worried about that. They're playing for a World Series.
What happened in Washington? Where did the Nats go wrong?
You know what? I would have loved to have seen Dusty come back. I think they've been so close. You know, Bryce Harper, looking at his career, he's played for 5 managers in 8 years.
Oh, boy.
That's tough to get the cohesive unit going. And I felt like with Dusty, they were at that point where they turned a corner. Players were starting to buy into what he was doing, and they might have continued on. They love Dave Martinez. They do. They just had a tough year. Again, it's been the health issues that always hit the pitching staff or whatever, but it just hasn't flowed. But I think Dusty had them going in the right direction.
Yeah, I don't know if the Nationals have done this or can do it or will do this, where you just say to Bryce, look, we have 2 teams. We have some good offers for you. They're going to give us prospects. We want to build around you. But if you don't want to be, just say the word, and we will not make this deal. We'll have an agreement that we're going to continue to build around you. Have they done it? Will they do it? Can they do that?
Well, I think they're not. It's not going to happen because Bryce is going to test the free agent market, and I think any team that gets him right now knows he's going to test the free agent market. I think the difference with Harper and Machado, I really think the Dodgers feel like they got a chance to be one of the teams that locks Machado up.
Yeah.
So by getting him in the fold, letting him see the team, how it's ran, everything, they feel like they can do a long-term deal with him. Whoever gets Bryce right now, I don't think that's the feeling. And I think with the Nationals, I think they're realizing their window may not be there to lock him up right now either, without him at least testing the market to see where it's going to push the money.
What kind of money are we talking about for Bryce Harper?
You know, it's crazy. Last year we were talking about $450 million.
Yeah.
You know, that was the market.
Is it
I've
still
heard
there?
Numbers. I don't know if the batting average has hurt him. It's what everybody else looks at differently now. It's hard to understand what people look at. Some people look at, well, he hit 35 balls hard off his bat, so that counts. And that's what they're looking at. He had exit velocity. Hey, in home run derby, he hit 15 home runs over 450 feet. Some people look at that. Other people are looking at the batting average saying it might have cost him. I still think he's got probably the biggest appeal and markability of any player. There's just a magnet thing to him that gravitates fans to him, whether you love him or you hate him. And that's good TV, and that's a good draw. So he's going to get paid for that, I think, in itself. And he's 26 years old, so I think he's going to get that. The only twist I think might happen is you may see he might be the first $40 million a year.
Yeah.
Somebody might say, hey, we'll give you $40 million for 5 years. You don't know. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what the number ends up. But I think we're going to be somewhere from $300 to $450 million.
If Bryce Harper is not traded today, it's because why?
The Nationals just didn't have the nerve to do it. Man, it's tough to trade a franchise player. For Rizzo to have to deal this guy today, it's killing him to have to be in this conversation. And I don't know if as an organization they want the blowback that's going to come their way. And that would be the reason that they don't do this deal.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.